students, welcome to computer class. In this class, we are going to learn something about computer languages. But in short, we will revise whatever we have completed, we have revised in the earlier two classes. Okay, but before that also, in 5th standard, you are going to learn something about PowerPoint. Okay, before that, we will see somewhat computer languages. Now, all of you know computer, we have revised what is computer system, what are input and output devices, correct? Now, input devices means the devices through which we are giving data, information to the computer, that is called input device. Whereas, the output device means the device through which we are getting the output. The examples of input devices are your keyboard, then mouse, then touchpad, digital camera, web camera, scanner, and etc. Whereas the examples of output devices are printer, monitor, and speakers. Okay, now we will turn now to computer languages. Now all of you know what is language. It's a means of communication. What is communication? Whenever we are expressing our thoughts, ideas, feelings with somebody, that is called communication. With a group of people or a one person or two persons. Okay, that is called communication. Just now, for learning and teaching purpose in a school, we are using the English language. Correct? Whereas at home you are talking in mother tongue and some other few languages like Hindi, Marathi, which you are learning in the school. Okay. Now, in the primitive ages, when a Stone Age man, if you will see, you must have learned history. In that time, languages were not developed. So, man used to talk with gestures. Okay, and slowly, how the development took place in all fields. Same development took place in languages also, and so many languages got developed. Now, what is computer language? Computer language means the language which computer will understand. Okay, that is called machine language. Now, there are different types of languages which computer can understand or in which we are giving instructions to the computer. Now, first, before that, we will just have a look. See, whenever we want to give instructions to the computer, we are giving the instructions in English language. Okay, in certain manner, in certain steps. Those steps are called program. If you are thinking to do some activity, you'll plan which work I will do first, what are my preferences, which work is urgent, which work which I can do afterwards also. All this you are deciding. This decision procedure, or which steps to be taken first. All this when you are deciding, that is called a program in computer language. So any instructions, any program, any problem which you want to give it to the computer to solve, you have to give that problem to the computer in certain manner, in certain specific way, in certain code. That is called a program. Now, if you'll see the development of computers, who was the first programmer who started doing the program directly on the computer, means the instructions in a programming way and get the output? She was a lady, her name was Lady Ada Lovelace. She was the first programmer, means who writes the instructions and give it to the computer and tell the computer to solve the problem and get the output. That one is called a programmer. So she was the first programmer. first programmer, that is Lady Ada Lovelace. Now we will turn to computer languages. Okay, now computer languages are divided into 4 types: machine language, assembly language, high level language, fourth generation language. Now we will concentrate on machine language. Machine language is expressed in binary form, that is zeros and ones, not the English language. Means any program, any instruction you want to write in machine language, you have to write in the combination of zeros and ones. Now suppose alphabet A you want to display. In ASCII the value of alphabet is 0, 1, then 5 times 0 and 1 in machine code, that is in machine language. So it is very difficult to understand because all the combinations of zeros and ones only we have to do. So many combinations for different alphabets. So to remember this, it was very difficult. Only advantage is that it was not that time consuming, but it was having high speed performance and a very less memory utilization. Whereas these zeros and one combination, making these combinations for different alphabets, it was a difficult task. And these machine languages were machine dependent. Means what? Once you have done one program in machine language on one certain computer, it may or may not run on the another computer. That is called machine dependent. Means it is not universal that you can use the same program on all computers. It was not possible. So it was a tedious job. So very less people opt to do specialization in machine language. Machine language was used in the first generation computers. Those are called low level languages because it was very difficult to understand and do programming in those languages. Then comes assembly languages. These languages use mnemonic codes or symbols in place of zeros and ones. Instead of binary codes, they were using zeros and ones. Now, zeros and ones means instead of remembering the exact memory location where the data or instructions are stored, they were using symbols to remember those memory addresses. Okay, now for memory addresses, I will give one example. See, in schools, whenever you are coming, you want to keep many things in the school classroom. So, different lockers are provided to you, correct? Many things like drawing book, coloring book, or scale, or something, or some of the other things you are keeping in your this particular place. Okay, each locker is having some number. Sometimes you are putting some sticker or some goddess picture on the locker, or looking at that locker, means looking at that picture, or you are remembering that instead of locker number you are remembering the sticker color or sticker goddess sticker I have put, or from top my locker is third in the third row, like this or something. Okay, same way these assembly languages were using some symbols or codes instead of having the memory location. In computer, whenever the data or instructions are getting stored, it is in compartments, it is like in lockers. So each place is having its certain unique address. Okay, how your blocks in a big complex or big society, how each block is having certain number, building number 1, flat number this, floor number this, correct? Same way in the computer memory also, each location or storage location is having its own address. Okay, instead of remembering that address, they used to have the symbols. Now these symbols again should get translated in machine language. Then only the computer will understand. Okay. Now, how to translate that? For that, translator programs were used to translate the assembly language code into a machine language code. Those translators are called assemblers. See here, on the left hand side, some program or instructions are written. That assembler, it the assembler takes that and it converts it into a machine language, that is combination of zeros and one. Can you see on the right hand side? It's a combination of 1 and 0. That is the source, that is called a source code. The source code means the assembly language which we want to convert, which is given on the left hand side. It is a source code, and which is the output, means after doing assembler, after using the assembler translator, which is the output, that is called a object code. So a program written in assembly language is called the source program or source code, and a program converted into a machine language by assembler is called the object code or object program. Even these assembly languages were very difficult to understand and difficult to write the program in assembly languages. So it was quite time consuming, and in second generation computers these assembly languages were used. Now this is also called low level languages. Whereas now there was a urge to a program written in assembly languages called source program. Now assembly languages, we have seen machine language, assembly languages. Now these two languages were low level languages because they were time consuming languages, and it was tedious to write programs. So many people were not interested to learn and write the code in assembly as well as machine languages. So there was a need, or there was an urge to develop some language which the common man can understand. It should be user friendly and it should be machine independent. Means what? Which can be written on one machine can be used on another machines also, that is machine independent. It should be user friendly, means what? It should be easy to understand and it should be easy to write the programs in those languages. So some people developed the languages. The examples of these languages, some popular high level languages are Basic, C, C++, Java, etc. are some of the popular high level languages. But high level languages were used in the third generation computers. Okay. After that we are going to learn the fourth generation, but those are more advanced languages. But these high level languages, whenever it is written in high level languages, it was more similar to English language. But computer doesn't understand English, correct? So again, the program written in high level language should get converted into a machine language which computer will understand, because computer understands only machine language, correct? So these high level languages need to translate in some by using some translating programs. These translators are of two types, interpreter and compiler. Now in simple English language, all of you know what is interpreting. Explaining the meaning or converting, that is called interpreting. Okay, compile means same thing. Make it easier or make it in the form that another machine or another person will understand. Now all of you know interpreter. See, whenever one person from one country goes to another country, suppose that person doesn't know that country's language. So the person in between, both the persons from different countries, he translate one person's language into another person's language. He is also called a interpreter. Means whenever the source code or the program is getting translated into the another source where the machine will understand, that is called a interpreter. Now these translator programs are of two types, interpreter and compiler. In interpreter, each line of the program code is translated, and after translating it, if the error occurs, if there is an error, it will show the error immediately, and after rectifying that error, then only it will go to interpret the another sentence or another code from the same program. At a stretch, it will not interpret the full program. Okay, line by line it goes. It is useful for the beginners. These interpreter translating programs are better or useful for beginners to learn the programming languages. Whereas if you will see compilers, they are compiling, translating the full code or the full program as at a stretch, and it converts into the machine language, and it gives at the end, it gives the list of errors. Okay, so compiler programs are much more faster, because execution process is faster, because altogether it compiles the full program and then it gives the list of errors. So one can sort out the list, one can debug the list very fast and at a stretch. Whereas interpreter programs execution is little bit slow and time consuming. Like this, we have come to an end of the this lesson. Now in short, we will revise. We have seen what are the types of computer languages, correct? There are 4 types. 3 types we have learned, that is machine language, assembly language, and the high level language. Machine and assembly languages were low level languages. High level language, we have seen the examples, that is basic, C, C++. All these are the examples of high level languages. Next time we are going to learn the fourth generation languages. Okay, by then learn everything. Thank you.